and a society that is forced to fund itself via debt rather than productivity. Does anything up there look like it's going on today? Okay, this was the description of the fall of the Roman Empire. Other big societies, productive societies, have gone this same route, and if we continue down the same path, we will end up in the same place. So it's very important for us to get involved in our government to make a difference. The other one, you probably haven't seen any evidence of anybody trying to incite class warfare or resentment between citizens. That's another characteristic. Recent history, 2001 to 2006. President Bush had a Republican Congress most of the time there, and I think for the most part we were kind of disappointed with a lot of the things that happened there. We had to fight really hard to avoid the amnesty for illegal immigrants that George Bush wanted to do. George Bush brought in the prescription drug plan that is going to cost a lot of money, and other things that we wanted that were not accomplished. In 2007, he ended up with a Democrat Congress. Now, the Democrats who are in power now don't want to take very much credit for what happened in 2007, 2008, but they're the ones who controlled the purse strings and did the budgets and so forth. 2009, 2010, we had President Obama with a Democrat Congress. And what was the result? Disaster? Okay. A lot of bad things from our perspective. 2010 to the present, there's been a split Congress, and President Obama hasn't been able to accomplish all the things that he would like to do. So the point of this is we've had Republicans in charge and we've had Democrats in charge, and we haven't really gone in the right direction. The spending has been much greater with President Obama, but President Bush was a pretty good spender himself. I'm going to share with you an analogy. It's a train, and our country is like a train. There's a locomotive. That locomotive has two groups that are vying for control of that locomotive. One is the Republicans, one's Democrats. The bad thing is they both want to go to the same place. Just that the Democrats want to go at 60 miles per hour, and the establishment Republicans want to go to the same place, but let's go at 20 miles per hour. We're still all going to go over the cliff sooner or later. It's just a matter of how soon we get there. So when Nancy Pelosi made the comment that she wanted the Republicans to take back their party so that it wouldn't matter who got elected, that's what she was referring to. The establishment Republicans and the Democrats, they were both going in the same place, same direction, just at how fast they were going to get there. What we need to do is to stop the train and get it turned around and going in a different direction. Now, if we're going in one direction already, can we compromise? Compromise is, according to Washington, is, well, you're going 60, we're going to go 20, let's go 40. Okay, that's the compromise. But it still takes us to the same place. When we're going in the wrong direction, you can't compromise. We have to stop the train and get it going the other way. Now, is it easy to stop a train, especially if it's got 100 or so cars behind it? Absolutely not. It takes a lot of effort and a lot of work to get that train stopped. And we're in a position where, I think it's 47% of workers or Americans don't pay federal income tax. We're getting close to that tipping point where if the majority of Americans don't pay income tax, they would probably feel fine with voting us that work to pay all the things that they want. Okay? So we got to get away from that tipping point and get things turned around. Freedom is not free. Revolutionary War. There were soldiers who weren't professional soldiers. They were local citizens. They were farmers. They were teachers. They were business owners. They joined the army and they fought in the Revolutionary War. They gave up a lot. Many of them lost their lives in so doing. Now, one thing that we need to note from that is that approximately 1/3 of the people who lived in the United States at that time were for the revolution. Another third were the loyalists who were opposed to the revolution, and there was another third in the middle that didn't kind of make up their minds which way they wanted to go. I think that's the independents. So here today, we don't necessarily have to have 75% of the people that are in favor of going in the direction that we want to go to get things turned around. If you look at the election in Lake County, there was a 52% turnout of voters in Lake County. The issue 2 lost, I don't know, 61 to 39, something like that. So, if 60%, 61% of those that voted determined the outcome of the election. That 61% comes out to approximately 30 to 32% of the voters in Lake County that determined the outcome of the election. So, that means that 48% of the people didn't even vote. And if you bring in half of those people, and if they vote in the right way, you can turn that whole thing around. So we need to educate people, we need to contact people and get them to understand where things are going and what the end result will be if we continue in the direction in which we're currently headed. Freedom is not free. War was the War of 1812. There was the Civil War, where untold hundreds of thousands of people lost their lives in order to maintain the Union and to extend freedom to all people in the United States. World War I, we fought again. World War II, again we fought for freedom. Freedom is not free. There was a Cold War in the 60s, 70s, 80s, till a president by the name of Ronald Reagan came along. His famous words, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. He spoke from a position of strength, and he was a conservative. He was able to accomplish that which everyone else was afraid to do. So, freedom is not free. We have monuments in many places in our country to commemorate those who lost their lives to give us the freedom that we currently have today. We have those who were prisoners of war missing in action. They paid a great price for the freedom that we have today. It's incumbent upon us in this generation to preserve the freedom that these people paid so dearly to give us. Freedom isn't passed on through the bloodstream. It isn't passed on automatically from one generation to another. it has to be